Now, the outlook for South African corporates remains stable in the second half of this year, despite slightly tougher than expected market conditions. That's according to Fitch, which also says that the country will weather global economic uncertainty because of the measures corporates employed to conserve cash. For more, Raymond Hill, head of emerging markets at Fitch Ratings, joining us on the line from London. Well, Raymond, this sounds like good news, that we will weather the current economic storm, and we owe it all to the war chests that our corporates are sitting with. Would that be a good summation of what you're saying, sir?
Whether a global economic storm is good news is of course not a matter, but I guess it's a question of relativity, and in part I guess reflects the relative remoteness of South Africa. It has to some degree in an insulated environment, but there are cyclicals, obviously, the mining industry, the construction, manufacturing, and those things will see some slowdown. But from our viewpoint, as we said in our report, as a result of the cash conservation measures, including cost cutting, that's helped support cash flow generation over the last couple of years since the 2008-2009 time. And the corporates on the whole are relatively well placed to maintain, I suppose, their credit profiles. But we don't see any real increase in credit risk across the corporate universe that we rate.
Raymond, Derek here. Just a question from my side. If we look at the global economic environment and then relate it back to our domestic economy, the scenario that you've painted does sound like good news. And obviously, the question is, how long do you see us remaining stable, and what is the downside risk to that stable statement? In essence, what is the risk in the global economic environment, and do you see this global developed world falling out of bed from where we are at this point in time?
I'd already formulated part of that answer before you got to the latter part of the question. Yes, I mean, central to our case is the Eurozone models through. Obviously, if there is some kind of breakup or major restructuring of the Eurozone, however that may manifest itself, then I suppose we will have to review the whole situation. But, we are seeing a global economic slowdown with some markets in recession already. We see China slowing down, Brazil slowing down, Turkey slowing down, South Africa slowing down. But, we see that the market will stabilize over the next year, 18 months, and continue with a slow recovery thereafter. So, yes, South Africa will be hit, but, the corporates seem to be relatively well placed to weather that storm.
Yes, Raymond, I'd like to ask you if there isn't perhaps a similarity and a certain irony in the fact that the Americans' cash holding and our corporates' cash holdings aren't perhaps partly due to the political situation. You've got the politicians heading for a fiscal cliff in America, and we've got our own leadership issues here, plus policy issues that hopefully are going to be cleared up later on this year. If both end happily, would you see that having any influence on corporate investment?
Well, I think corporate investment, probably out in South Africa, outside of the major parastatals, so I guess Eskom and Transnet, which are big fish in the pond in terms of investment. Yes, corporates, not just in South Africa, but generally haven't put the foot fully on the gas for investment, and you can understand them given the continuing uncertainties and the slowing economic environment. That isn't a great case to justify increasing capex. So what you do is, we focus on your maintenance capex, selective opportunities, and you conserve cash to boost cash flows, and you retain your firepower, for recovery, or to help you better weather a storm if things get even more choppy than we're anticipating at the moment.